अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेवदेव। कुण्डलिकुमारि कुटिले चण्डि चराचर सवित्रि चामुण्डे गुणिनि गुहारिणि गुह्ये गुरुमूर्ते त्वां नमामि कामाक्षी। गुरुमूर्ते त्वां नमामि कामाक्षी। शरज्योत्स्ना शुद्धां शशियुतजटाजूटमकुटां वरत्रासत्राणस्फटिकघुटिका पुस्तककरां सकृन्नत्वा नत्वा कथमिव सतां सन्निदधते मधुक्षीरद्राक्षा मधुरिमधुरीणाः फणितयः। Let us first offer our obeisances to our Guru, to our Father, to our Divine Mother, to everything that we have in our life, to the real treasure of our life, our Swami, our Self, our Antaryami, without whose grace we all would have never met, we all would have never come together today. To sing the glories of the Lord, to hear the glories of the Lord, is only possible by the grace of the Lord. That grace is made available through the Guru. Narayani Namostute. The objective of today's Satsang Seva is to beg for devotion, for surrender, for faith, and for love. unto our Savior, our Swami, our Lord, our Divine Mother, our Father. So today we are all gathered with only one bhav, with begging bowls in our hands, seeking for devotion, seeking for surrender, seeking for love, faith, simplicity, seeking for a pure mind. And as Swami says, if you want bhakti, sing the glories of a bhakta. So that's what we are gathered here for, to sing the glories of Lord Hanuman, who is the epitome of bhakti, of devotion, of pure love, of ultimate surrender. I have sent you all a picture of Sri Ram Sabha. So before we get to that, let us put our hands together again and seek the blessings of Sri Tulsi Ramji. For a seer, for a rishi, it's darshan. For us, it's a dhyan, it's a meditation. So in the bhav of Sri Ram, when his mind was totally colored in the bhav of Sri Ram, what he saw, he described, and we will meditate on what he saw. So through a bhajan today, we will see how Lord Rama silently watched Hanuman's conduct, his devotion, his surrender throughout the time they were together, looking for Mother Sita, fighting the war for Mother Sita, fighting the war to establish dharma. How Sri Ram silently observed, and his heart was filled with love for the simplicity, for the service of Lord Hanuman, and how he eventually broke down into tears, describing the glories of his beloved Hanuman upon his return to Ayodhya. So putting all your distractions aside, like how Tulsi Ramji Maharaj was observing, was having a darshan of this beautiful scene as he was describing. Let us also immerse in that darshan along with him, watching this beautiful scene of the Lord, describing, singing the glories of his devotee, of his bhakta, Hanuman. So the time was when Ayodhya had already been informed that Sri Ram is returning after gaining victory over Adharma, after defeating, after killing Ravan. He was returning back in the Pushpak Viman. The entire city of Ayodhya was rejoicing. The brothers, Bharat and Shatrugna, were extremely happy. The entire kingdom was rejoicing, singing glories of Sri Ram, waiting for that Pushpak Viman to arrive with Sri Ram, Lakshman and Sita. There is a beautiful bhajan by Swami Tejomayanand which captures the scene over there. They're all looking at the sky, eyes filled with tears. When will we get darshan of Sri Ram after this long exile? 14 years. Imagine not seeing our Swami for 14 years. What would that wait be like? What would those eyes be like? देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, श्री राम सीता राम, श्री राम सीता राम। देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, श्री राम सीता राम, श्री राम सीता राम। देखो पुष्पकारूढ़ सिया राम, देखो पुष्पकारूढ़ सिया राम, लक्ष्मण सुग्रीव हनुमान। देखो पुष्पकारूढ़ सिया राम, लक्ष्मण सुग्रीव हनुमान। नल नील अंगद समेत, नल नील अंगद समेत, विभीषण अरु जाम्बवान, विभीषण अरु जाम्बवान। देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, श्री राम सीता राम, श्री राम सीता राम। आनंद मगन पुरजन, मंगल भोग त्रिभुवन, आनंद मगन पुरजन, मंगल भोग त्रिभुवन। अब सत्य धर्म स्थापना, अब सत्य धर्म स्थापना, राम राज्य कीर्ति महान, राम राज्य कीर्ति महान। देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, देखो देखो रे आए रे भगवान, श्री राम सीता राम, श्री राम सीता राम। They're describing, look, the Pushpak Viman has arrived. It's landing. Shri Ram, Sita Ram, Lord Rama, Mother Sita, Lakshman, Sugriv, Hanuman, Nal, Neel, Vibhishan and Jambavan. They're all present in that Pushpak Viman. They have all arrived back to Ayodhya. So once the Pushpak Viman lands, each one is coming out and the entire entourage is being seen by Ayodhya Vasi, the citizens of Ayodhya. The princes, their wives, everyone is watching. When a mother takes her son or her children to an event, the mother is aware of who's watching my children, with what intention, and what are they thinking. Are they being judgmental? The mother is very aware. Although it seems like the mother is busy looking here and there, the mother is very aware how everyone is looking at my children. Just with the same bhav. Sri Ram saw how the royal kingdom, how the people in the kingdom, how the royal family was looking at Hanuman. Remember, Hanuman is very simple-hearted. His whole world starts and ends with Sri Ram. He is not bothered about how he looks. how princely he looks, how great he looks. He's only concerned about Sri Ram. But Sri Ram is wholeheartedly concerned about Hanuman. He sees everything. He's been watching everything secretly. He sees how people are looking at the ape, at the monkey with a tail, hair all over. What they fail to see is the love, is the devotion in the eyes. But nothing is hidden from Sri Ram. He sees it all. Sri Ram is welcomed to the royal throne. Bharat washes the feet of Sri Ram, welcomes him. He is again dressed as the king, as Sri Ram, as the royal prince, as the royal king. Mother Sita is dressed beautifully as the queen. And then they are seated on the throne. Lakshman is standing to one side. Bharat and Shatrughna are standing to the other side. Lord Hanuman is by Sri Ram's feet. Sri Ram is getting everyone introduced. He says, Bharat, look, this is Raja Vibhishan. He is the king of Lanka. It's because of his greatness, it's because of his devotion to me. He left his brother and his kingdom aside and he came to me. It's with his help I was able to kill Ravan. Here, Bharat, meet Nal and Neel. They were paramount in watching the construction of that bridge that we created, the Ram Setu. They watched every day, day in and day out. They watched the entire construction. What they did, I can never explain how much hard work they put in to create that Setu. Bharat, this is Jambavant. He is the mastermind, the ultimate wisdom behind this entire war. Extremely wise, extremely smart. My brother Bharat, meet Angad. Angad was my Shanti Dut. Before initiating the war, he had the courage, the guts to go to Lanka. And when they tried to bother him there, he put one foot down, nobody could move it. What can I speak about his courage and greatness? Not an ounce of fear in him. He went to Lanka, he went inside as a Shanti Dut, as a messenger. And then Sri Ram paused. And he looked at Hanuman. Hanuman didn't realize Sri Ram was looking at him. Hanuman's eyes fixed on the Lord's feet, gently massaging Sri Ram's feet. The entire Raj Sabha was quiet, silent. Sri Ram lovingly looking at Hanumanji. Hanuman's eyes lowered, looking at Sri Ram's feet. Sri Ram's eyes welling up with tears. He takes his hand and he puts it on Hanumanji. Hanumanji looks at Sri Ram He sees his Lord's eyes are welling up with tears. Hanuman's eyes are welling up with tears. Sri Ram and Hanuman are looking at each other. There's no talking. An ape, full of hair, sitting by the feet of the Lord's hand on his head, his eyes looking at Sri Ram's eyes. This deep conversation of love, of pure love. Sri Ram is choked up. He can barely speak. He is introducing everyone that came with him. It's time to introduce Hanuman. Bharat is eagerly waiting. The entire Raj Sabha is waiting to hear, is waiting for some words to fall out of Sri Ram's mouth. But he's choked up. The devotion, the love of Hanuman has melted him. Bharat bhai, Bharat bhai, कपि से उरेण हम नाही. Dear Bharat, what can I say about Hanuman? I am forever indebted to him. The choice of word is Kapi, not Maruti, not Hanuman, not Anjaneya. Kapi. Kapi means ape. Sri Ram is saying, Bharat bhai, Kapi se urin hum nahi. Rin is debt. I can never repay Kapi, this ape, for what all he has done for me. Bharat bhai, Kapi se urin hum nahi. Aitho khai, अछूत खवावत, ऐठो खाए अछूत खवावत, हाथ धोवत तट माही. भरत भाई, कपि से उरेण हम नाही. The Vatsalya, the motherly affection of the Lord is shown here. He saw all those eyes looking at the ape. He saw all the eyes looking at the ape when he was eating, when he was walking around in the palace. Every word of judgment, every thought of judgment that anyone may have passed over Sri Hanuman hurt Sri Ram so much. He's saying this with his hands, caressing his head. Sri Ram says, this ape that you're looking at, I'm forever indebted to him. Aitho khavat, the way he eats, Bharat. Achuta khavavat. He doesn't have the great finesse of the royal kings and princes. He's a very simple-hearted person. He's very, very simple-hearted. In the same plate that he eats, he washes his hands. Bharat. But I'm forever indebted to him. Aitho khai, achut khawat. Aitho khai, achut khawat. हाथ धोवत तट माही भरत भाई कपि से उरीण हम नाही. The Vatsalya, the motherly affection with which Sri Ram is saying, all that judgment you passed on his being an ape, his behavior like an ape, is so dear to me. I know he doesn't have that great finesse. I know he washes his hands in the same plate he eats. But let you know, Bharat is very dear to me. His rin on me is so large I can never repay it. Kapi se uren hum nahi. It's like, a mother. If someone comments, oh, what happened? What happened to his hair? Why is his hair so weird? Oh, no, he's just, doing something different with his hair. But he's very smart, He's very smart. He does very good in school. The mother always covers. The mother cannot bear anyone judging the child. So Sri Ram is admitting, yes, you all observed the ape. You all observed the monkey. He doesn't have that finesse. But let you all know, he's very dear to me. He's very dear to me, and the debt, I can never repay him back for all the love that he has given me. He's trying to show how special Hanumanji is for him. Aitho khai, achut khawat, haath dhovat tat mahi. Bharat bhai, kapi se uren hum nahi. The simple-hearted, the pure-hearted Hanuman, he was so childlike in Sri Ram's love that one day he saw Mother Sita putting sindoor, and he asked her, Mother, what is that? She said, this sindoor signifies that I belong to Sri Ram alone, that I am his. When he heard that, he took sindoor and he put it all over his body. Simple, pure-hearted devotion. Not considering how he looks, what people may think. None of that. Bharat bhai, kapi se uren hum nahi. Sri Ram's eyes completely drenched in tears. He's choked up in love. Looking at Hanumanji with that love. Hanumanji looking with that love, with that devotion to his Lord. So yojan मर्याद सिंधु की 100 योजन मर्याद सिंधु की 100 yojan. He says, Bharat, do you know that the sea, you know how big, how vast an ocean is. So yojan. Yojan is a measure. So yojan. मर्याद सिंधु की. लांघ गए क्षण माही भरत भाई कपि से उरेण हम नाई. He says that vast ocean which measures 100 yojan, he jumped over that ocean in one moment. लांघी गए क्षण माही. लंका जारी सिया सुधिलाए. He crossed that vast ocean in a moment. Went to Lanka. Siya Sudhilaye. Got me the news that Sita is okay. Found her out. Not only that, he completely set Lanka to fire. This vast ocean that we were just standing on one side thinking how to get there, he got there in a moment. This Lanka that belonged to Ravan, he burnt it down. He found Mother Sita. He talked to her, and then he came back with her Chudamani. He did all this, but after he returned, not an ounce of garv, not an ounce of pride in him, Bharat. Bharat bhai. What can I tell you, Bharat? This Hanuman, this ape that you see, I'm forever indebted to him. He did these great things, but when he returned, not an ounce of pride in him. Not an ounce of pride. भरत भाई कपि से उरेण हम नाही. नाही कपि से उरेण हम नाही. This simple-hearted ape that you see has not an ounce of pride in him. All these things Sri Ram was silently observing. But today, he's choked up, singing the glories of his own devotee, of his own servant. The Lord sings the glories of the beloved. Kapi se uren हम नाही. भरत भाई कपि से उरेण हम नाही. कपि से उरेण हम नाही. शक्ति बाण लाग्यो लक्ष्मण के. शक्ति बाण लाग्यो लक्ष्मण के. Sri Ram is now describing Bharat when that Shakti Ban during the war, when that arrow hit Lakshman and he fell unconscious. Chor bhayo dal mahi. Shor bhayo dal mahi. Hahakar. The entire Vanar Sena was completely distraught. What to say about them, Bharat? I was distraught. my brother, who wasn't even supposed to be with me in exile, who was fighting a war for me, with me, was now injured. He lay there on the battlefield, unconscious. Bharat, I was nistabd. I was in such shock. I didn't even have tears because I was in shock. The entire army was scared, distraught, fearful. द्रोणागिरी पर्वत ले आयो, भोर न होने पाई, भरत भाई, कपि से उरेण हम नाहि. He's saying, Bharat, when this happened, and the doctor said that before sunrise, if we don't get this particular medicine, we cannot save him. Dronagiri parvat le aayo, bhor na hone paaye. Silently, Sri Ram observed everything. When Hanumanji brought the Dronagiri Parvat, everyone rushed to get that Sanjeevani for Lakshman, to wake him up, because the sun was going to rise soon. Before the sun rises, the medicine needs to go in, it needs to work, and as soon as the sun rises, the battle needs to begin. Everyone was so focused on Lakshman getting better. And Hanuman, he just got on to his business. He's like, all right, it's war time. He didn't expect any applause. He didn't expect a thank you from me. He didn't expect anything. Bharat, I was watching him, not an ounce of pride, simple, pure-hearted. He saw I was in shock. He knew what had to be done. Bharat bhai, kapi se uren hum nahi. What can I tell you about this ape, Bharat? I know he doesn't have that great finesse. I know he doesn't fit well with you all royal princes and kings. I know he washes his hands in the same plate that he eats. But this ape is very dear to me, and I'm forever indebted to him. These great things that he does, yet not an ounce of pride in him. These great achievements in a timely manner, yet doesn't expect anything as a symbol of recognition. Kapi se uren hum nahi, ahi ravan ki bhuja ukhadi, ahi ravan ki bhuja ukhadi, बैठ गए मट माही, भरत भाई, कपि से उरेण हम नाहि. Ahiravan was a great devotee of Mother as Mahamaya. When Ravan told him that I'm fighting against Sri Ram, he said, I'm not going to join you in this battle. So Ravan had to use his bhakti for Mahamaya, for Mother as Mahamaya, to bring him to fight. He said, they are such pure-hearted people, Sri Ram and Lakshman. If you sacrifice them for your Divine Mother, she will be pleased. So Ahiravan said, okay, I'm going to go capture them. And he was a Mayavi. So he captured Sri Ram and Lakshman and he brought them back to Patal Lok. No one could go and rescue Sri Ram and Lakshman except for Hanuman. Ashta Siddhi Navanidhi Ke Data. He had all the 8 siddhis to become small, to become huge. So he became as small as a bug and he went into Patal Lok. There he saved Sri Ram and Lakshman from that sacrifice that Ahiravan was going to do. He killed Ahiravan. He brought them back. So when Sri Ram and Lakshman were captured, for a second just imagine the state of the army. Sri Ram and Lakshman are gone. The Vanar Sena, Hahakar. They were so scared. They didn't know what to do. In such a state, Hanumanji killed Ahiravan. And to kill Ahiravan, Hanumanji had to take the form of Panchmukhi Hanuman. Because there were 5 lamps. 4 lamps in each direction, and the 5th lamp was guarding the cave where Ahiravan was there along with Sri Ram and Lakshman. And all of those lamps had to be blown away at the same time. So to do that, he assumed the form of Panchamukhi Hanumanji. Bolo Panchamukhi Hanumanji Maharaj ki Jai. So with that form, he killed Ahiravan. And then he seated Sri Ram and Lakshman on his shoulders and brought them back up. When they were brought back up, Sri Ram is telling Lakshman. So Sri Ram is telling Bharat, when we were brought back up, the army was rejoicing seeing us. Rejoicing that Sri Ram ki jai, victory be to Sri Ram. They were singing. They were dancing in joy. And what was Hanuman doing? Baithe gayo mat mahi Bharat bhai. He just sat in one place. He just sat down. He wasn't expecting any recognition. He just sat there silently in a corner, watching the entire Sena root for us, carry us, be around our chariot, dance for us. What did he do? He just sat in one corner quietly, not expecting any recognition. Bharat bhai kapi se uren hum nahi. O Bharat, this ape, all this while Sri Ram's hand is on Hanumanji's head, gently caressing his head, tears flowing from his eyes. Hanumanji's eyes lowered. And then Sri Ram says, या पर भारत हनुमत जो ना होते. Bharat, let me tell you the most important thing. If Hanuman wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I would have been sacrificed in the Patal Lok. I wouldn't be here today, Bharat. Bharat bhai kapi se uren hum nahi. When Hanumanji heard these words, it is such a difficult thing for a devotee to hear the glories, hear his own glories from his Lord. But with his lowered head, accepting the love of Sri Ram, Hanuman was listening. And when Sri Ram said, if not for Hanuman, I wouldn't have been here, Bharat, Hanumanji stood up with folded hands, silently saying, Lord, that's enough. Don't sing my glories. I'm not worthy of these glories. Sri Ram got up and he hugged. Sahas badan tumharo jash gaave, as kahi Shripati kanth lagave. Sri Ram hugged Hanuman. Bharat bhai kapi se uren hum nahi. Sri Ram and Hanuman hugging each other. Sri Ram's eyes filled with tears. Hanuman crying. Tulsidas is saying, this scene that we all get to witness of the Lord, Prabhu Hanumat Gunagai. Sri Ram is singing the glories of the bhakta, of the devotee. How, with choked up throat, eyes filled with tears, and the bhakt experiencing the union with his Lord. Bharat bhai kapi se uren hum nahi, nahi kapi se uren hum nahi. Let us, with folded hands, beg Hanumanji for this kind of bhakti, wherein we are simple-hearted, childlike, expecting no recognition, serving our Lord without expecting any recognition, any praise. Because Sri Ram silently observed for all those years, and now when he speaks about his devotee, he can't contain his tears. When Sri Ram was leaving this world, Hanumanji hugged him. And he said, how am I to live without you? You have blessed me to be a Chiranjeevi, but how can I live in this world without you? And then Hanumanji said, at least give me one blessing before you leave, that wherever they sing your glories, I shall be present. I shall be present with folded hands, head bowed in reverence, eyes filled with tears, as I listen to your glories, to your stories. Bharat bhai kapi se uren hum nahi, nahi kapi se uren hum nahi. Bharat bhai, Bharat bhai kapi se uren hum nahi, kapi se uren hum nahi, nahi कपि से ऋण हम नाही। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।